I don't, you know what I'm saying? At my age, I'm really not trying to have no kids. I already had told her that. And the thing is, when we first started talking, she told me like she didn't want to have no kids at this point because it didn't, you know, she didn't got to this age and she didn't. But as we was talking and dating and stuff like that, I clearly tell that's what she still wanted just by some of the stuff she used to say. She was like, you know, before I met you, you know, I didn't want to have a kid, da 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 da. But I see how you are, and you're a good dad, and you're a good guy, and I would love to, you know, all this stuff, right? With that being said, you know, like I told you, she told me she was on birth control. She told me, you know, da 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 da. So I'm like, how did this happen? And so she's like, well, you know, I just started the birth control like the other day. And I'm like, it don't work like that. You don't just pop a pill and now you gotta let that stuff get in your system. And she like, well, you know, I haven't been on it in a long time. I did it. I'm like, well, why didn't you say that? You know what I'm saying? We could have, you know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Like, and the thing is, if you really following along, you already know what's going on here, right? Okay, so just leave that part in the comments. I want to, you know, interact with y'all on that one. I'm not clueless about the situation. I'm more so irritated about the situation because I feel like we too old to be in a like high school situation now at this point. And so she's like, she get frustrated. She's like, I'm gonna take care of it. You ain't gotta worry about nothing. I'll handle it. Da 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 da. So she's trying to get an attitude and go off, right? And I'm like, hey, it is what it is. So that like caused like a little rift in our situation. So she go back to her home. I go back to my home. It sort of be dry for like about a week or a half. And then she's like, she texts me and she's like, it's taken care of. You don't have anything to worry about. You know what I'm saying? I just thought that, you know, we was a lot closer than what I thought. And I'm like, it ain't even about that. It's like, you know, I ain't want to get into it because I ain't want to ruffle no feathers, da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? She's still, you know, calling, texting, and she's like, hey, I want to come see you this weekend, you know, da 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 da. And I'm like, I'm not even going to be here. I'm going to be down in Jacksonville. So she's like, okay, well, I can come there, you know what I'm saying? So she comes to Jacksonville I'm doing like some work stuff down there. So she comes down there. We kick it that weekend, having a good time, you know what I'm saying? Da 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 da. One thing lead to another. She hit me with that guac guac gripper. And, you know what I'm saying? Now, at this point, you know, we back on the same accord. We done talked about this situation. We cool, right? She on board. She taking the birth control, da 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 da. We back where we was. So I come back to Dallas to holler at her or whatnot. So I come back to her town, you know what I'm saying, kick it with her for like about a week or whatnot. So I'm down there for like a week, you know what I'm saying, I'm kicking with her, you know, we going out doing different stuff like that. One day she out on the patio on the phone with her girl, and I was in the other room, but the window was open and I can hear her conversation. And she like, I hear her on the phone and she like, man, I ain't even about to tell him. Like, I just ain't even about to tell him. I'm about to just, you know, get on a plane and go and, you know, do what I gotta do, and then I'll be back. And I'm like, what is she talking about? So I go back out the room, come into the room where she at, and she like still talking to her friend. So when she get off the phone, I'm like, hey, I ain't even gonna lie, overheard y'all's conversation. What is you talking about? And she's like, I'm pregnant again. I'm like, how? Like, I am an elderly old man. I am not trying to be chasing a toddler around a playground with a walker. I'm just not trying to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm like, I'm not understanding, like, you way older than me. And it's like, why are you doing this? Like, are you normally the most fertile woman in the world? Like, what is happening right now? And she's like, I don't know, you know, why this keeps happening. I don't understand. You know what I'm saying? And maybe it's just, you know, God saying, I need to just have this child with you and all this stuff. And I'm like, look, I know this video is going to rub some people the wrong way, but I wasn't really trying to have a baby by a 56-year-old woman, and I'm 173. I just wasn't trying to do it. And she's like, don't even worry about it. Like, she gets pissed, like, don't even worry about it. Da 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 da. I didn't tell her what to do. I just told her I didn't want to have a kid. And I know that some people probably, oh, well, that's what you told her. You should. And so, you know, I get my stuff. I'm like, look, I'm gonna go home. I'm frustrated. Because for one, it's like, I feel like you keep lying to me about the situation. I feel like you're not on birth control. You're not doing what you need to be doing. Are you just doing it? Are you doing this on purpose? And that's what I told her. I was like, I feel like you're doing this on purpose. So she's like, why would I do it on purpose? I ain't trying to I ain't trying to trap you, nigga. That's you know how y'all get, right? I'm like, look, I'm not telling you to go get an abortion. I would never tell a woman to go do that. I just wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, this is my quiet protest. Like, I don't want to have a kid at this age. But if you, choose to keep the child and whatnot, I'm going to do what I need to do. Blase, blase. And so she sort of calmed down. I still got my shit and left because I was pissed, right? So I get on the plane, go back home. And she texts me and she's just like, I'm keeping it. And in my head, I'm like, man, I was supposed to talk to Keri Hilson that night, man. I was supposed to, you know what I'm saying? Like, this was supposed to be a Keri Hilson. Now, if Keri would have texted me and been like, Tom, we having a little bundle of joy, I'd have been like, have a baby with Keri Hilson. But no, I'm about to have a baby with Keri Hilson's 56-year-old stunt double. It's not a fair trade-off. It's just not. So I get on the plane, go home. She called me, she texted me like, I'm super dry. I'm just like, just let me know when the child support payments start. Like, for real. Let me know when I get my visitation and my child support start. I'm frustrated at this point. So maybe a month and a half later, she calls me like 4 o'clock in the morning. And she's like crying. And she's like, I'm like, what's going on? And she like, I lost the baby. Are you happy? Are you happy, Tom? I lost the baby. Now, in my head, I was like, but in real life, I was like, man, I'm sorry. I know that's what you wanted, da-da-da-da-da. And then that's when she sort of confessed the whole situation. And she was just like, when we first started dating, telling you the truth, I really did not want a kid. But once I saw how you were and how how you parent and how you deal with people in general, I just really wanted to have a kid with you. And it just started to grow. And yeah, I never took that birth control. And I was like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it's like I was pissed, but at the same time, she crying and whimpering on the phone. And the whole time, I'm just like, man, all I had to do was just keep talking to Keri that night. Like, why am I even here? Jesus. Goodness. So I get off the phone with her that night, and I'm like, hey, I'm on the phone with her that night, and I'm like, well, hey, I'm going to be close to where you at. I'm going to drive up there in about 3 days. And so I was in the area, so I drove up to her crib. She was still like down and out. And so it was a little situation going on at this hotel. And I was like, hey, why don't you get dressed and we go out to this place, get some food, have a good night, get your mind off of this, da-da-da-da-da-da. So she's like, okay. And she's getting dressed and she's happy. I'm in town and, her vibe is back. She, feeling good or whatever. So we go to the hotel. We getting some food or whatnot, and I'm holding her hand while we, leaving the hotel. We leaving the hotel. Y'all, why did Keri Hilson walk into the hotel? Seeing me hold her hand walking out of the hotel. This is the other rule about dating a celebrity. Once they see you engaged, start messing around with a regular chick, they want no parts of you forever. So Keri looked at me. I looked at her. I was like, hey, Keri. She acted like she never even knew me, saw me, or anything. Walked right past me, didn't acknowledge me at all. So old girl's like, ain't that Keri Hilson? Don't you know her? And I was like, I guess not. Damn. But that's just one of my wild and crazy stories. I'll see you in the next one.
Hey Tom, tell me a story.